Hello guys. Again, back to it with another one. It's been a difficult Champions Trophy for us as a country, and I know cricket hasn't really gone in any correct way for us as far as ICC tournaments have been are concerned for a while. If you look at over past and history, um, what can be said at this point? I think the reason for this one is there's been a lot of criticism on certain cricketers within our playing 11, and the most significant criticism of all of them who criticism has fallen upon is, of course, Babar Azam. And Babar Azam has been one cricketer who has been severely criticized over the past game and the game before that. And the amount of criticism that he has received is enormous. And I understand where it's coming from because the Pakistani fans are distraught, and that has been stated before. They're feeling stressed, they're depressed completely, and you can understand that. And you can understand that there's a strong sense of disappointment because you don't want that as a country. You don't want to feel that depressed. You don't want to feel as if things are going completely off track the way that they are, and you want to be able to see your cricket team do well because there's a strong sense of patriotism attached to the way international cricket works for us as a country. So again, for Babar, and I think it's important to give my 2 cents regarding this whole Babar Azam situation, and it's very important to understand where to go with this. With Babar, it's like this. He's a good player, right? And I think we all know that the ability is there. The ability isn't there is there within him to be able to play and to be able to do really well. But the results aren't delivering. And I think we've seen that for a while. And maybe it's a situation where you're trying to play a player that's severely out of form again and again and again, hoping that there comes a moment where there's a return for the king back into form. And I don't think that is the way to go about it because it's putting even more pressure on the individual. I think if I were Babar and if I honestly was somebody with that level of talent and ability, and I wish I was, I would say to myself that, okay, listen, I don't have it in me right now to be able to deliver at the international level for the team. I'm struggling with form. I'm struggling with getting runs. I'm struggling to be able to balance things for myself as an international cricketer. Uh, I had a pretty difficult run with captaincy. Batting is not really clicking. What should I really be doing at this point? Okay, how about I go back to the drawing board? I go back to my roots and just try to find that hunger again. Excuse me, to play at international level. So if you go back to the drawing board, right? If you say that, okay, don't have it in my control. I'm not able to play according to what is required from the team. I'm not able to put together a team effort. I don't think I should be sitting in the spot where I am. I want to be able to earn it all over again. So I would go back to the drawing board and say, I will play cricket at the domestic circuit. I will play cricket at a lower level and say that, okay, from there, I'm going to go ahead and try, fighting my way to a comeback to play at international level again. That is what Babar would need to do at this point. That is what he needs to do. Because if he will stay there, you can try that player 20 times. If a player is out of form, plays out of form. The player who's out of form needs to go back to the drawing board and redevelop that hunger to want to play at the international level. And to develop that hunger to play at that level is only going to come if that player is playing domestic cricket or just going back and then just playing from the baseline or from his roots or trying to be able to find his way through back into the team. Find your way back into the team dependent upon how you perform for the country. If you're performing well, it makes sense for you to be a part of the team, right? It does give you a sense of giving this individual an opportunity to play at the international level. So I would suggest that that is what would be the best thing for Babar at this point, to understand that the runs aren't coming, the batting is not clicking. It doesn't matter where I play or in which situation I play, things are really not working and I'm not able to make a contribution towards the effort of the team. So I would want to go back and say, okay, I'm going to play domestic cricket again. I'm going to try to refine, to be able to find that hunger again and say, okay, if I can work hard there, if I can really push for it there, if I can really put in more better efforts or more contributions in terms of scoring, in terms of my ability to be able to produce quality innings, to be able to win matches for the country, then for any domestic team that I'm playing for, then I would be able to earn my way back into the international team. A level of consistent performances to be able to play for the international team. Uh, that is what is needed with Babar. And I understand that there's so much frustration, but that's the only way around it for Babar. Because if Babar just continues playing at the international level, you might be able to deliver 1 out of 9. And a 1 out of 9 is not, with all honesty, something that the team needs right now at the level that the team has to be playing at. A 1 out of 9 is not going to help the Pakistan cricket team. So if it's going to be a 1 out of 9 where you're going to be able to perform and get some really good runs and be able to put on a show, I really think it's important to bring back the Babar that was able to, execute a fantastic chase against New Zealand in the 2019 World Cup. It's very important to bring back that Babar who was a key aspect of that chase against England on home soil. When 200 plus totals were chased down, or the totals that were chased down against South Africa, the Centurion. Go back and be that and find that Babar Azam that was able to be a significant part of that chase against India in the 2021 T20 World Cup. Bring back that Babar Azam. Where is that Babar Azam that had that hunger to provide a stellar knock against New Zealand when New Zealand were on home turf, right? Bring back the Babar Azam that was able to hold his way in an innings against India in the 2019 World Cup. Mind you, we did lose, but a Babar Azam that was showing that he meant business, that he wanted to be taken seriously by the international cricket community. That Babar Azam, and we want that Babar Azam to come back because the world was acknowledging that this is a serious player. The world was acknowledging that this is a player who, if was possibly in a better system, could have done better. But that player needs to go back to the drawing board and saying, okay, I'm going to redevelop my hunger to play at this level. And then I have a right to be part of the team. And positions of individuals within the team, the players that play within that team, that 11, should not be based on personal records, personal milestones, or their rankings, or their, I mean, the player can't be bigger than the board, and that's very important for people to acknowledge. A player can be big as well, but not bigger than the board. So if the player is able to deliver a performance that is something that helps the team rather than gives them their own personal goal. For example, if a 50 of 70 is not helping your team win a tournament or win a match or win a tough chase, or just not showcasing a sense of contribution to the effort of the team, I don't think you have the right to be able to hold on to that position within the team, because the player that should be a part of that 11 should be the player who is playing for the team, who is collectively working together to help the team win. Then you have a right to be a part of the international cricket team. You have a right to be able to be in that top 11. Even Rohit Sharma, I'd say this, Rohit Sharma is someone who is playing those innings trying to contribute to a bigger goal or of putting in effort for the team. A lot of people actually raise questions of the way Rohit Sharma played during the final of the 2023 ODI World Cup. And again, India lost that match against Australia, but the way Rohit Sharma actually played, it was a sacrifice that he was giving for the team so that the team could win. So the way he's pushing for those runs in those top 10 and in the early 10 overs, right, when the power play is in, it like that is when he's maximizing on the first 10 overs and just trying to get as many runs as possible onto the board. That is the kind of intent that is showing that, okay, I'm trying to be ahead of the run rate, whether I'm chasing or I'm trying to put on a total to be able to put on a better projected score or to be able to chase down an XYZ target. It's that level that you're trying to play at, where you're trying to contribute to the efforts of the team. So that is my 2 cents about Babar Azam. That, okay, listen, I'm not comparing Babar to Rohit because Babar is a completely different player. I'm not comparing Babar to Virat Kohli as well, because Virat Kohli is a completely different level of a league of a player. The only comparison Babar Azam needs to make is the Babar Azam that he was. And that is the only comparison that Babar Azam needs to look for. His only competition is with himself. His only competition is with who he used to be, who he was capable of being or was becoming, and he needs to find his way back to being that Babar Azam. So if he can just do that, he will win the hearts of his nation. And everyone will come around and just go back and rallying in support for Babar. They might be frustrated at the one or two, but the real actual fan is going to stick around for you, because you will be that country's hero if you're able to deliver like that. So that is very important. And the other thing is, I just heard the press conference that Akib Javed gave before this particular match that Pakistan and Bangladesh are going to have. The way one point of Akib talking about and saying that, okay, we didn't have certain players within the team that made our effort a little bit more difficult as a nation, I don't feel as if that's a valid point. Because the only reason you don't have other players to turn to is because the bench strength isn't there. And if the bench strength was there, then you wouldn't be dealing with that problem. So, I mean, you can't actually compare it to India, because India, despite not having a Jasprit Bumrah in that lineup, which is a big factor, nonetheless, they still got so much to play for. They've got a great spin attack that comes together and is able to do fantastically well. Kuldeep is someone who's troubled Pakistan for a long time. Again, showcased as well in the last match. So all I'm trying to say right now is that if you want to find a way around this, if you want to be able to do so, it's not about making extremely troublesome decisions or turbulent decisions right now. I'm not saying even sack Akib. I'm not saying sack a lot of the people in possibly the team management right now, just because of what has happened. If the team can sit back, right, and say and think over it and think, okay, you know what, we tried this, we tried that, okay, this didn't work, okay, let's go back to the drawing board, let's try to figure these things out a bit more, because a proper stint needs to be given to a coach to be able to build a team together. So it's very, very important to be able to do that, because there are going to be tough moments, right? But you need to be able to actually not press the panic button and make decisions that are not going to help the team. If you press the panic button, it's not going to help you put together a team. It's not. So it's important to say that, okay, go back to the drawing board. There are so many different cricketers. Some have good form at this point. Let's keep them around. Some are really struggling. Let's experiment with other cricketers. Let's see what we have at the domestic level. Let's try to bring that forward. Let's see if that pace trio that we have so much respect for and so much praise we've given this particular pace trio, which has not been able to deliver in recent times, maybe they also need to go back and redevelop that hunger. Maybe we need to figure out some new cricketers who are going to go there. And the captain needs to be able to also make these bold decisions as well. Bold decisions were made after the 2007 World Cup, which India were not able to do well at all, and they got knocked out, after losing to Bangladesh included in that. So bold decisions are what is going to help you. And after that, those decisions, those extremely big decisions that were made, came with a lot of fruit for the team, because the next World Cup, Team India was able to hold on to the trophy. So the thing is, you need to be able to make tough decisions of who's playing and who's not playing. But the key core components of the management, I believe so, or basically the coach, I don't think it's a good idea to sack the coach right now, or saying that, okay, we're just going to go back to it, because the number of coaches, the number of players, the number of things in the management of the board or the chairman, everything, if it consistently is being reshuffled, you're not going to be able to put together a team. How can you think about 2026 if you're not sure about tomorrow? How can you think about that T20 World Cup if you're not sure about if you're going to be in the team the next day, in the management, or as a coach, or anyone, for that matter? So go back, work on these things, and I think don't suddenly go ahead and take out the axe and just remove Akib or certain people from the management. But okay, go back, sit with them, discuss with them, okay, where things went wrong, what things went right. There's so much criticism on the team right now. There's so much criticism for the country. How can we come together and strategically be able to rebuild a team with all our efforts for the next T20 World Cup, because that's what we have to do. Okay, that's our focus. I'll repeat this again. Bilateral cricket is it can afford you the luxury to experiment. Bilateral cricket will always afford you the luxury to experiment. The ICC tournament is your big test, because the casual fan is going to turn up to watch an ICC tournament match. So at that point, all experiments are put down. What you have developed over a year is what you throw out into that tournament. So if you develop the right aspects within that 1 year, you can put that into the tournament and say that, okay, this is what we're going ahead with. So again, for that, because that is what's going to matter. Your diehard fans will turn up, your casual fans will turn up, and they're all going to talk about the team, because the team becomes center stage and focus. We remember the Afghanistan victory over Pakistan in the ODI World Cup of 2023. We remember these things because they were an ICC tournament. So you go back to the drawing board and say, okay, you know what? This is what needs to be done. This is what needs to be focused on. And this is how we're going to rebuild things together. You have a tour for New Zealand coming up right now. So if you're going to New Zealand, I suggest experiment as much as you can. But at the same time, let the core stay there and be able to experiment with what they have in their team, what they don't have. I'm not saying send a completely new team, but like trying to just experiment with your bench strength to strengthen out, develop the confidence of your own cricketers to be able to push to new cricketers as well. Like test out as many new names as you can and give them a proper stint to be able to showcase their abilities, and strategically in all of that try figuring out and making a team. That's really going to help in the long run, because that's all the focus is going to be towards with white ball cricket, because you've got 5 T20s, I believe so, in the upcoming series, and I can understand that with focus completely on the ICC T20 after this Champions Trophy. So yeah, go for it like that and see where that gets you. Anyways, that's my 2 cents for this one. My 2 cents for Babar, my 2 cents for the team, and I just hope we can hope for the best for the men in green. Anyways, bye.